All right. This is day 2. My volume is a bit high. Just gonna turn it down. 250. Yeah, right here. Day 2 of this progression or this code progress journal thing where I make a video each day. As you can tell, I just moved out and I gotta be a bit quiet here because there's people living right over there. So let's try to be a bit quiet. Before we start, I want to understand everything here that we wrote yesterday. Take a little conclusion or a little refresher and try to see if we can still understand everything. I felt like we could understand everything yesterday. So yeah, first we defined an array of the countries. We have all the countries and the data of the countries and flags in this JSON file. Then we use the fetch function to get and use all the data that we have in the JSON file. Again, this is the only part that the last time I didn't really understand. I think this was the hardest thing. But in short, the fetch function creates a promise, and then .then means that it goes through each of the lines one by one, and if it doesn't fulfill the promise that the fetch function gives us, then the .catch function takes the error code or the error and gives us it in the console on the website. So first, this line again, this is really hard for me to understand. But from what I remember, it takes a response which is not the actual JSON data, but it makes it the JSON data somehow, and then returns the actual array that is in the JSON file to us. And then this .then data is basically how we edit with the data that we got from this response right here. So what do we see here? First of all, we define countries equals data. We set a index, which is 0, which means the first one of the array, right? In our case, that will be the country Taliban. And we create a button with document.createElementButton, which basically creates a button, even though it's not HTML. It creates it in like this kind of cloud, because this is actually JavaScript. And then you give the text content of that button, which we just created, next country. So that button will be named, like the string inside of the button will be next country. And as we can see, if I run the code, see if this works. We already defined this right here, and we can see that the text inside of the button is next country. So that's what this little thing here does. It creates that text, right? And then we append this data into the HTML code. So right now it's just in the cloud. It's just in the RAM in the background. It's not actually appended out into the actual HTML code. That's what this code right here does. It appends it into the HTML body. So the body right here, post it into here. Oops. And then you use this function, which is the first time I actually saw this function. It's a very nice function. It uses the function as soon as you click the next button, right? So next button dot add event listener it listens to the event that you click, the actual button that we already defined, and whenever that happens, all of this code right here happens. First of all, the current index increases. So we were at, as you can remember, index 0, then it goes to the next one. So whenever we click this button, it goes from the 0 to the 1. So from the first country to the second country. And then this little symbol here is called modulo. And the reason we have this is in case we get to the last country, if we want to start at the start again, right? You want to cycle through. So what happens is that when we reach index 199, which is the last country, right? It pluses 1. It becomes 200, and then divided by 199. And then what's the remainder of 200 divided by 9? 199, it's 1, right? You can fit 199 into 200 once, and then you have 1 that's the remainder. That means it puts us back to index 1. But the countries.length is actually not 199, it's 200, I forgot. So it's 199 plus 1, which is 200, and then divided by 200, which is 0. So the remainder is 0. So the index is actually 0, which is what you wanted to do. You wanted to cycle all the way to the first country, which is... I actually skipped through it already, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right here, Taliban. And then obviously we need to call the function for this to happen. So actually this function isn't actually declared, it's called, but it's actually not declared. We create that function over here. We'll get to that sooner. Yeah, we do the exact same thing as we already did here. However, this time we want this as a previous button. So instead of creating the next button, we create the previous button. And then the only thing that's different really other than that is the function here, which is instead of -1 and then the modulo countries, we actually have to add the country's length as well. The reason for that is that when you have index 0, right, and you go -1, you don't actually want it to be -1, right? You want it to be +1, because if it's -1 and then you divide it by 200, it doesn't make sense. So when it's 0, it goes -1, it pluses 200, that would be 201. 201 divided by 200 is ones with 1 in the remainder. So it's wait. No, it's -1 plus 200, so it's 199. So 199 divided by 200 doesn't work, which means it puts us all the way back to the 199th index, which is the last country. And then it calls for the function again that we declared down here. So yeah, this function starts with creating an or defining country. Here we define this as data, but inside this function we define it differently with the index parameter inside. So whenever we call for the country, it's called with whatever index we put inside. So firstly here we define a, actually we don't define, we check if a name element has the ID country name inside of it. And obviously if this isn't there, then this value will be null. It won't actually be a value. So what this if statement does is that if name element has the value of null, which in our case it is, right? Because we haven't declared that name element has an ID anywhere. We haven't defined name element anywhere here, right? It's new. So if that's not declared, which it isn't right now, this will happen. So first, the name element will be created, which is in an H2 element. Then it will be given an ID, which is country name. So we will give him this idea, and we will give an H2 element, and then we will append it to the HTML code right here. And then we will also give it a text content. Again, we did that same thing over here. We gave it the previous country, but instead of giving it a name that we just make, we make the name the variable. So string of this variable, which will be whatever name the country we are on, which, as you can see here, it's Taliban. Then the name element text content would be Taliban right here. So yeah, that's why we're getting the name right here, because it takes the country.name, which is, if we go in the JSON code, we can see that the .name equals Taliban, right? So yeah, then it does the exact same thing, just with the images. It checks if there's any declared ID on the flag element, which is named country flag. Again, we haven't actually defined the flag element yet, so it doesn't make sense. So this runs, flag element gets created as an image, the ID gets created, and it appends it to the HTML code. Then the flag element.src, which is the source of flag element in the HTML code, is the same as the flag flag key inside of the JSON file. So again, if you go to the JSON file, the flag key is this link right here. So the source will be the link, and the alternate, which will be like if this doesn't actually work, if there isn't any flag key. In our JSON file, there is flag keys for every single one, but if we had an array where there wasn't actually a flag key for one of these, then this will be shown instead, which would be the name of the flag and this text right here. So let's say that this data didn't actually exist, then we would just get the Taliban name here plus the flag string right here. And then we call for this function with the index of 0, and that's what this means. Index changes to 0, which means that we get Taliban like this. And the reason we're calling for this is because when we haven't pressed any of these keys, which as you can see, we need to click them for it to call for the function. Like this won't happen if you don't click the key. So as soon as you open up the program, we haven't clicked anything, we need something to be shown. And that's why this function here exists. So that when we refresh, we get this on our page. Then we press console.log load countries equals countries, just to test for now. What does this mean? Yeah, this is just if we open the console, right? It tests if there's any countries, and as you can see, there are loads of countries here. So yeah, it's just to see if it actually works, I guess. I don't actually remember writing this code, I'm not gonna lie. And then again, the .catch function is if there's any error inside of this whole fetch function, then it will give us the error inside of the console. All right, that's about it for the summary. I think I will move on. I'm gonna first do this. This is my current code. Let's move on to the next step. Current settlement creates the element only so countries, so you're safe from the early duplication. Now we can move the guest checking part of the project, since it's the next logical step in your original plan. Step 4, add an input and submit guest button. All right, so again, my actual plan for this code is, as you can see in this Notion document, the wrong file. is to create this whole game. But before we do that, I want to make the simplified version, which is this right here, where we get a list, we store the countries, which we did in the JSON file. Player needs to guess the flag, but we've already done that. So these are all checked. Player needs to submit what country he thinks it is. So this we haven't actually done. So we're on this step. Before we started this step, we wanted to make a simplified version. They just press next and previous. But now we want to move on to adding a submit guess button, which is great, right? Create an input box for the user to type their guess and a button to submit it inside your .then block after code where you create the previous button. I'm just gonna do something real quick. Sorry. There. Oh shit, I actually have to do it here. There we go. Let's just do this. And we should be almost done. And there. All right. Inside your .then data block after the code where you create the previous button. Inside your .then data block after the code where you create the previous button. Okay, so let's see where's the previous button. That is here. So it wants me to write right here. If I do this, by the way. I just want to see this thing right here, right? That ends here. Like that's the same thing, no? Like I think everything here is inside the data thingy. See? I just want to check that because that's what I think, and if it's not, then I will be. So where's this parenthesis again? That's here. Yeah, if I just click it, it will show me, no? Click it like that. It should show me. Yeah, it's that. So everything is inside the .then function, which is what I thought. Okay, so after the previous button here, let's try to understand the code before we actually do anything. First, we create guess input, which is an element, which is the input element in HTML. Again, we're not actually in HTML, so we got to use document.createElement instead. Again, it's not added to the HTML either. It's like in this kind of cloud thing between HTML and JavaScript. Guess input type text. So this means that the input is text. So whatever the input is from the user or the player, it will be in a text, not in a integer or Boolean or whatever else. It's the data type of a string, I'm guessing. I could be wrong there though. Guess input.placeholder. So placeholder, I'm guessing means like whatever says on the input thingy. So when you like, you will have like an, let's say this is like what you need to click to enter the thingy. Then it will probably say enter country name inside of it, right? And then you click it and then you write whatever. I think that's what it means. So it defines that as well. And then it appends it to the HTML code, which is nice. Again, this weren't actually in the HTML code, so for it to show up on the website, we need to append it to the HTML code. Then we create a button, guess button, which is the element button, which we're already familiar with. Then the text content is submit guess. That's the text inside of the button that we are already familiar with, and we append it. So all this is really easy code to understand. Pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna guess input document.create element, then input here, right? folder, enter country name, and document dot body dot append child. Yes, input here. Then const guess button equals document dot create element dot button. Guess button text content submit guess here document dot body dot body dot child guess button. This is wrongly spelled, is it? Yeah, because the B is small. There we go. Okay, that's easy. Do you want to explain how to check the guess against the JSON data after you add? Do you want to explain exactly how to check the guess against the JSON data after you add this, or do you want to first understand and confirm this part? I understand this part. Perfect. Now let's connect that input and end button to actually check the guess against the current country. Connect the input and button to actually check the guess against the current country. Okay. Right after you create guess button, add this. Okay, so after, I'm just gonna make it a bit cleaner here. After your current guess button, which is right here. Yes button dot add event listener. Again, this is a function that happens whenever you click the button. So when you click the button, firstly a user guess value gets created, or a variable gets created. Dot trim. So I know this dot trim just means that if you make a space, I think that's what it means. It just, or is that different? Like I think it just removes spaces before and after. Dot trim. String man just remove the trailing white space from a string. Yeah, I think that's what it's mean. White space. So just like if you add a space by accident, it deletes it, I'm pretty sure. So the value to lowercase, and it also sets it to lowercase. So it just cleans out whatever the value is. So user get equals whatever the guess input dot value is. So whatever value the user set in and typed into the inputs gets trimmed and gets gone to the lowercase and gets saved in this variable called user guess. Okay, that's easy to understand. And then it creates a correct answer, which is the name of the country on whatever index we're on. And also it gets set to lowercase for some reason. I don't know why they want to set it to lowercase, but that's what it's doing. And then if the user guess equals the correct answer, triple equals means that it's the correct symbols, but it's also the correct data type. So it has to be a string. It has to be a string. Then you get this alert, which will pop up on the top of your screen right here. And if it's not correct, then you will get this incorrect alert. The correct answer is, and then $sign means that this is like a interactable code. So whatever the actual name is, like whatever the actual correct answer is, which is defined here, gets shown in the alert command. Yes, input.value. I don't know what this means. Yes, input.value. Clear input after guess. let's read it. This one I don't see. I don't understand this one right here. Gets what user typed. Really? Oh, right here. Oh, so that's actually. So why does it reset it? I guess it just resets it afterwards. Like it checks and then it just resets it as part of the process. Yeah, that's what it does. That's what it means like clear input. I thought it means clear as like in clean, but it means clear as like remove. Okay, so all this makes sense now. Compared to current country's name, exit case in Spain, match Spain, trim, remove spaces from start to end, so Spain becomes Spain. Yeah, that's what I thought. And everything is yeah, everything here makes sense to me. Compared to current country's name, show alert with the result. Yeah, everything here is understandable. This was very easy. So I will add this right here. And I'll say Gus button dot add events listener. And then I will go here, make this click function thingy. I don't remember what it's called actually. Let's see what it's called, what the function is called. Can I not see that? Can't I see that? What? How do I do that? Maybe I don't remember. Okay, let's just define the user guess. So it all makes sense to me now. Then we do the if statements. Triple to check the data type and also the actual data. That correct answer. Boom, boom, boom. Alert. Oops. And then I'll just copy paste that because I don't know how to create that emoji. And then I misspelled it a bit there. And here, else, oops. Else, here, alert. And I'll just do this here as well. And it's actually not this thingy, it's this thingy. That should work. I don't know why that is not good. Oh. Wait. Oh. Wait, what? Else, alert. This thingy. Oh, there's no, this shouldn't be here. Should be a parenthesis. There we go. That was good. And then we also clear it after to make it fresh for the next time this function is being called, right? Let's actually see if this all works. Let's go over here. For some reason, the country is not showing. Guess button events is not a function. Add event listener. Guess button add event listener. Is it spelling error somewhere? It's 7617. So I'm guessing it's because it doesn't return anything, or there's no way it's because of the semicolon. should not do anything. Okay, so it seems like it works somewhat. And it has an input name, and then when I say Algeria, submit guess, I didn't get anything popping up, which is not good. Again, let's just check if everything works. User guess, that's correct. Add event listener. Again, is that like not the correct way of saying it? Add event listener. Looks correct to me. I'm gonna again go over here. I'm gonna try to restart the page. It doesn't, for some reason, when I restart the page, it doesn't give me name even, but when I do this, it does. So that's kind of weird. Right. Yeah. And I don't get an alert. So I don't know what's happening here. It says an error loading JSON. Oh, really? So anonymous version JS 133. Let's see here. 133 is up here. And yeah, that means that's just a catch part of the function giving this error. And that's why we can actually read this, right? Error loading JSON. That's what it says right here. And then whatever error we have. And the error we have is a type error. Guess button dot add event listener is not a function at version 1.js 7617. So I have no idea what that means. This is not a function at version 1.js 7617. What is 17? I don't know. I feel like it's just not understanding this code right here. It's like you see how when I hover anything else, it like explains it to me. When I do it here, it doesn't, right? Oh, it's because the L is small. Now it should work, right? Let's see. Yeah, it's working here. Previous country, next country. Let's try to write it down. All lands, submit guess, and we're getting the alert. Perfect. Okay, so it was just a spelling error. That's nice to know. Everything works fine. That a correct answer automatically shows the next flag instead of requiring to click on next country. Yes, but actually I'm gonna try to edit this code because right now, as you can tell, there's already a name shown, which makes it extremely easy to guess. So I'm gonna try to edit the code so a name isn't shown here. So let's go through the whole thing and try to do it without using the AI. It's not here. It should be. Where should it be? Should be down here. Show country, index, name elements. Should be this one. No, not that one. Yeah, it's this thing right here. No. Like if I do this here, let's try to run the code now, and it should work, right? This is France. Correct. Let's try with a uppercase. That's also correct. So that works nice. Let's try it. Previous. I have no idea what country that is. This is Isn't it Saint Louis? I don't actually know how to write that even. Wait, did it tell me what country it was? British Virgin Islands. Okay, that's nice. Let's try again. This is obviously Viet. Nice. This is in South America, right? I don't remember. It's not Colombia. It's Ecuador. Is it? Venezuela. Okay, that was wrong. This one, I have no idea. Let's try one I know. This one, interesting. I don't actually know that one either. This one, I think I know. I think this is Malaysia. How you spell it? No, it's not Malaysia. It's Paraguay, no? Paraguay? Uruguay. Fuck, I mixed them up. I'm not gonna lie. This is I'm having too much fun doing this actually. This is USA, of course. Okay, I had to write United States. That's whatever. This is the UK. This one is the United Emirates States. Is that what it's called? UAE? United Emirates. No, United Arab Emirates. No? That's correct. Nice. Try one more. This is Ukraine, of course. This is Uganda, I'm pretty sure. Uganda. Okay. Yeah, I'm having too much fun. I'm not going to keep going. Obviously, I don't know all the countries. I want to know all the countries, so I'm going to use this. That's kind of why I'm creating this project, right? To actually understand every country. Do you want it so that correct automatically shows the next file instead of requiring a click on next country? Yes, let's do that. We'll just extend your if user guess is equals block so when the players guess it right, so move on to the next country. That makes a lot of sense to me. Let's do exactly that. Also, I'm just gonna, yeah, let's just let it be there actually. Guess button, add event listener, click here. So it's like adding code here, right? Current index plus one, and then it's just doing the same code that we already made up there. So I should have probably been able to do this code myself if I were thinking about it a bit better. Current index plus one, then modulo countries dot length here, and also we got to call the function. I'm missing a T there. Plus one. No, current index only. There we go. So now, if it's correct, it first pluses the index, and then it calls for the country function, which obviously gives us the next whole thing, right? Like this thing right here gives us the flag. So yeah, let's try the code now. Let's try the code. Let's do just a random one. Ooh, this one is really hard. Can I remember? I feel like I can remember. It's something with, it's two letters, I'm pretty sure. It's anti something. I think it's anti something. Antigua and Barbuda. No? Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda. Nice. And then it should, yeah, and went further. And this is obviously Argentina. Let's try it. Yes. And the next one. Ooh, this one is Lithuania. How do you write it? Lithuania? Armenia. Fuck. This reminded me so much of Lithuania. I thought this was Lithuania. What's Lithuania country? Oh, it's green in the middle. This one is blue in the middle. One more. Oh. This one I have no idea. This is Australia. This one is also a bit hard for me. I think this is Austria though. It's either Austria or Peru. But it's Austria. But it goes to the next one. But one thing I want to try actually was this was like I want to see if it goes forwards no matter what if your previous one like pressed the previous one. So let's try to see if it does that. Firstly I need to know this is Taliban, right? Yeah, Taliban, correct, and then it goes to the next one. Now if I go previous country and then I write it again, does the same thing happen? Yeah. So the same thing happens. So if I go here, the next country is this, and then here this is Angola. If I submit the guess, yeah, it still goes this way. So no matter which way we're doing, and that's obviously because we only added a forward code. So it would be pretty hard to implement a way to go backwards. So I don't even think it's necessary. I don't even want to do that when I think about it, because the end code will literally just go through every single country and I will remove the button completely. So yeah. Using modulo, we call show country current index to show the next flag immediately. The previous and next country buttons will still work as before. If you want, you can also remove the correct answer alert when it gets this correct answer since we show the next flag. That'll make the quiz a lot flow faster. Yeah, I'm actually gonna remove that one. That's pretty easy. That should be like you just remove this, right? And else, yeah. So basically, we just finished like this one. Like this one is done, and this one is also done, and this also is done. But I actually don't want this to be a thing. Like I want to remove this one, so let's remove that one. So everything on the easy thingy is done. Like everything here is done. Now I think before moving on, I'm gonna remove the next and previous button, and I'm only gonna let the user guess in order to move on. So you won't actually get a country before you've correctly guessed, and it should be pretty easy. It's just removing like the parts of the code where it's actually giving the user the possibility for the buttons, right? So previous button here. Yeah, I'm just gonna remove it by doing this. And I'm gonna do that here as well. Oops. This. Right, and it should be good. If I refresh this now, yeah, I can only go if I correct, like if I do the wrong thing, incorrect towards Taliban. But I didn't want that to happen though. Did I not? I forgot to remove this. Yeah. Else alert. I'll let it alert incorrect. I don't want the country to be shown though. Let's also not forget to add this thing here. There we go. So now if we tally incorrect, I'll do incorrect, try again, you noob. I'll do that, and then when I do this, try again, you noob. Okay, Taliban, and then it should instantly give me the next country. Perfect. But now it actually submitted under. That's interesting. I think that's just because of like we haven't actually added any CSS, so it's just like an automatic browser CSS kind of thing, which shouldn't be a problem. But if I do all launch here, then it works, right? And this is Armenia? No, is it Armenia? Incorrect. What is this again? This is I don't actually remember this one. I'm starting to get really rusty on countries. I was a lot better before. Albania, of course, Albania. Should have gotten that one. Yeah, let's check if the UI is good. Yeah, the US. And this one is Tunisia. No, it's not. It's Algeria, sorry. I don't know why I mixed them up. Okay, so then the code is exactly as I want it. I'm gonna give the ChatGPT the oh, actually, I'm gonna give it the whole code. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna update my Notion document. So the first code is done. Second code plan, right? I'm gonna start the second code plan because I am actually finished with the first code plan. So what do I want, right? I want yeah, I want to add so they get hints. Give hints for players when guessing incorrectly. And this will be first, the first letter is shown, then second letter, then third, the third, and then if player guesses wrong with I guess it's wrong even with 3 hints, the code goes to the next flag. So I'm actually gonna try this without ChatGPT, and that's gonna be incredibly hard. First of all, I'll just copy this here, and I'll do first code. I'll do second code. This should be nice. So how do we give hints to players? So it should be in the if statement here, right? So if it's correct, then this happens. If it's wrong, it will alert. Then it will say correct. The first letter is, and then we gotta create these curly brackets with a $sign, right? Because you want an interactive code here. How do I create that? There. And then it's country dot name. However, we only want the first actual letter, right? So I don't know the code for that. It's probably pretty easy, but this is the idea at least. Another way we could do this is add the first name inside of the submit guess thingy, right? So it could be incorrect here, and it could be US button text content equals a, but this is just going to be in the background. It's not going to say it when I click it, right? Because when I click it, oh, it does actually do that. Wait, why is it? Oh, this is the button. Sorry, it's the input placeholder. So it should be guess input dot placeholder folder equals um a dot dot dot. No, it should be interactive because it's different depending on the flag, right? So it's whatever the actual country name, and then the first letter of that, but I don't know the code for that, obviously. So yeah, that's my ideas for now. Let's see what ChatGPT does, because that's the furthest I can go. Again, did I do anything wrong? Oops. Is it wrong here? Yeah, I edited that by accident. So, and also this didn't work. I don't know. Maybe this is not how you do it, but it should be looking something like that at least. Okay, now I'm going to the second phase project, and I want to go step by step. I want to add a way to give hints to a player whenever he guesses wrong, right? He gets 3 hints, one every one letter. Oops, the country. Oh my god, I can't spell. Country until he gets the first 3. If he still then guesses wrong, the code forces him onto the next flag. This is my current code that I want to build from. Let's just build from this. Okay, let's see what it's doing. It's doing a lot of things. Is this a new ChatGPT? I think this is the new ChatGPT thingy, taking a long time. See if it can give it something. Okay. Nice clear spec. We'll add hinting steps to by step so it's easy to follow and test. Behavior will be implemented on the first wrong guess, reveal first letter. Yes, this is what I want. The user brings wrong gun after the force the quiz to the next country. All code goes inside your existing fetch.data block, same scope and current in okay, blah blah. Add hint counter plus hint display element right after you create guess input guess button. Add. Okay, so guess button is here. Then we got a hit count, which is just a variable for the amount of hint we need. So that makes sense already. I'm just gonna read through it first. Const hint elements. First it creates the element which is in P, which is like in lower kind of element. I don't know why it needs to create this. Also gives it a ID, it gives it front weight, and it styles it. Why would it style it? It doesn't style anything else. Talking body append child hint elements. Maybe it recognizes that whenever I remove this part of the code, the all on got like scuffed, and that's why it wants to add it. To make it not scuffed. That could be the reason. Int count tracks wrong guess for the current country. hint element is visible. Is visible. Again, it's doing too many steps. Stop. Do one step at a time. Okay, so again, it creates the elements, gives it an ID and text content and CSS. This is the styling. That's what the style means. And then adds it to the HTML. Again, I'm not sure where it wants to go with this. Like, why does it want a hint element? Like, I guess it wants it to show how many hints it got, like a counter where it shows it on the screen. That would make sense. I wasn't thinking of it, but I guess it makes sense. Is this one on the page where it was? Yeah, it's visible. Keep the separate makes it step. Wrong. I guess it's resetting on the next one. I guess it's because. Yeah, so this all makes sense to me. It just creates like a new element where it tells us how many hints we've got. But again, it hasn't actually given us any hints, which is what I tried to make before this. So I'm set to see if it does something so similar to what I was thinking of. Hint elements, document dot create elements, p. Why can't I? I'm trying to figure out this thing here because whenever on this thing, I couldn't go down. Oh, I can now, I guess. That's weird. And then gives it an .id equals hint. And gives it this text content, of course. That's kind of like the whole point here. Oops. Oh yeah, because that's what's. Wait, what? I just duplicated by accident. That's not what I would try to do. This is the ID. The text content actually looks good there. Hint element dot style dot font weight equals 600. Again, I haven't done too much CSS, but obviously this is going to be correct just because of like because it's an AI. Like it's most likely correct anyway. So I'm just guessing it looks good now. Document body dot append child hint element. I'm gonna actually test how this will look without the styling. Now we got the hint here. If I go wrong, incorrect, the first letter is, doesn't tell us that. So again, it doesn't actually tell us anything, which is what I said. It just creates this counter here. And as you can see, if I do this, right, it just looks a bit worse. So yeah, that's basically it. It just looks a bit worse. Just it makes the margin top a bit bigger and the font weight a bit bigger, like that, which is fine. I don't mind. It doesn't do a lot, but right. Next up, make a function that generates a masked hint. So now we're actually doing the part that I tried to do. Let's see if it's similar. Add this inside your then data block, but above guess button dot add event listener. So it should be above this, I'm guessing. Also, I'm gonna do this just for it to look better. Is there a better way of me doing this, by the way? Like, can I do it faster? I don't know yet. I don't know. Okay. Function. So it creates actually a new function. Wow, that's interesting. I thought it could just do it inside of here. but I guess that's too hard. But it depends on the hint count, and it depends on the country name, of course, and that's why that's the 2 parameters right here. Makes a lot of sense. But again, this is more complicated than I thought we needed to have it, but I guess it's because it also wants to show it, which is why it's a bit more complicated. Actually, let's understand it first. Get hint function, let visible part equals country name dot slice. What does that mean? And 0 hit counts. What does it mean? Hint count, sorry. I keep saying hit count for some reason. Country name. Yeah, I don't know what this means. I know slice means, I think it makes it into a new object. Like, I think dot slice makes it into new objects. Let's search it up. Dot slice. Slice means return selected items in a new array. Okay, it creates a new array from a given start up to a not inclusive given end. The slice method does not change the original array. Select elements from start to a given end. So I'm guessing that's easier. So it's creating an array from 0 to the hit count. So if it was 1, it would be 0 to 1. Oh, now I understand this part. Okay, that's really interesting. It create like this is the country name, right? So you have the country name, which would be Taliban, and then since it's dot slice from 0 to 1, it just goes into that object and checks whatever is from the 0 to the 1, and since the 1 is it's not working like indexes because it's an object. So 1 would mean the first letter. So Taliban would be T. So it's a bit confusing because it's not indexes. It's just like it's like an index, but not an index because it's an object, not an array. So it's a bit weird. Like I would guess like if it's, or maybe it's actually like index. I'm just not understanding it because hit count would be 0. And then you press this function and then the hit count gets updated. So actually this is 0 at start, which means it's the first in 0 is the index, which means the first letter. So I think it actually is the same as indexes, if I'm not mistaken. Let hidden part equals dot repeat country name. Hidden part equals and repeat the length minus hit count. Okay, this is really cool. So it actually creates a variable for the rest of the word because right here we got like, let's say we got 2 hints, so the first 2 letters, right? That would be T and an A, and then it creates a variable for the rest of the word, right? Which would be this symbol here. So the rest of the word will be this, and it will be repeated for how many values the length of the country name is, and then minus the hint count because you want to get minus what we already have, right? So it makes a lot of sense. And return visible part for hidden part. So then it just returns the actual word. But we haven't actually used this. We haven't used it yet. So even though it's returned, we need to use it for it to actually work. But yeah, we already understand it. And here it explains it, and it's exactly what I thought. So yeah, or one or two new like code things here. Dot repeat is really cool for as long as you want, which would be Taliban would be like how Taleban. It would be 7 minus how many hints we got. Let's say 2 hints. It would be 5. So this 5 times after 2 hints already. So that's pretty cool. Let's write it down. Function country name. This hint count also in camel case. Parameters are in camel case then. I need to remember that. And then let visible part equals country name dot slice and 0 int counts, right? That's hidden part equals country country name dot slice, then from 0 to the hid count, which at the first time this function is called, which should be 0. I think it should be 0 the first time that it's called, and then 1, and then 2. It should never be 3. It should never be 3 if I'm understanding it correctly. Okay, and then we gotta return it, right? Yeah, return visible part plus part. Whoops. Like that. And why is this? Oh, get hints. Yeah, obviously we gotta name the function so we can call for it. I forgot about that. So yeah, it shouldn't actually do anything because we haven't actually called for the get hint yet. So if you look here, boom, submit guess, and then nothing happens because we haven't actually called for this function, right? So that's nice. Let's go for next step. Hook the hint system into wrong guesses. Yeah, I'm gonna try this without looking at the code because again, this is what I tried earlier. I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to do it, but let's try. So without even looking at the next step, I'm gonna try to imagine what we need to do here. Obviously, we need to display this somehow. We need to display the visible part and the hidden part, and we need to call for the function to do that. So if the player correct answer, current index, blah, 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 blah. So if it's wrong, then first of all, it will alert. Then we should call for the function, which is, how do you call for a function? And you just get hint like that, right? Get hint. We get to return the visible part plus the hidden part, and then we need to display it. And where do you want to display it? Do you want to display it inside of the where do we want to display it again? Here maybe? Inside this elements? Because originally I was thinking about in the actual guess input, but we could also just do it as a new element, which is the p element. I think that's the reason they did this in the first place, right? So hint element text content. Yeah, I think we just used this line and create it again. So we call for a function and then hint element dot text content equals, and then we create a new thing. Let's do this to be clean. Hint equals, and since we called for a function, it would be the visible part plus the hidden part. So visible part plus hidden part. But again, this is as a string right now, so we got to make this actual code, right? Like actual input. And I thought you did that by doing, oh, maybe you do the dollar sign outside. So maybe it's like this. Maybe I can just do the whole thing actually when I think about it. It's not like that. I don't remember how you do it. Did I do it some other place? Like, I don't remember. I did it once in this code, but I deleted it, so I don't actually know how to do this again. But I thought it was like that. Hint element. Text score. Oh, we're doing it the wrong place. I should do it here, right? Just double check that the names are actually the correct names. So visible part, and hidden part. Let's see if this works. Also, is there anything else I need to do? You call for the function. I also need to update the hint count, right? Yeah, I'll do that here. So let's hint count. How to do that? Plus equals? No, plus one, no. How to do it again? Plus. I don't remember how to do this. Plus. How do I add one? Plus one? No, plus. I don't know how to do that. Fuck. How do I add one? I don't remember. And also, I don't know if I need to actually do this for, again, this is where I'm kind of, I don't know if this should be 0 at first or 1 at first. If it's at 1 at first, then I need to obviously do this before I call for the function. Yeah, let's see what it's doing here instead. So, hint count. Okay, so it actually declares it before the actual thing happens. And there's a lot of things happening here. So let's first declare that. Plus. Oh my god, it was plus. I was so close. That's annoying. Int count equals 0. Yeah, just declares it again. I don't know if this is necessary. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it already runs it. Oh, I know why. It's because if you get to the next one, it needs to know that it's a new one. So if you guess correctly, then the hint counts updates to 0, like in the data. So that's why it declares it. Okay. Here, else hint count plus. I forgot it was plus, man. But I understood that I need to do it though, which is the most important thing. And it creates a new if thingy, which is if the hint count is under or equal to 3. And this also means that I was wrong. It's not 0, 0, it should be 0, 1. If it's under 3, then the hint equals get hint country's current index.name hint counts. This is obviously calling the function, which I tried to do, but I called it without actually including the current index.name and the hint count as the parameter, right? Because in the parameter now, it's the country name, but it's not the country name dot index. So I needed to include the index and I need to include the name. Because obviously it's the... yeah, I don't know why you actually need to spell dot name here. Like, I feel like that's already done. No, it's not. It's not done. Okay, I understand this. because this is just country and an index, but it's not actually clarifying that the key we need to use as parameter is the name. So it does that, and then the hint count. Yeah, already also needs to be a parameter because we wouldn't be able to actually know what the hint count were. That makes sense. So this is the interactable thing I was trying to do. So it actually was correct. So the code here actually should work. However, I like re-declared it. But here they just do it in the alert. Like I did it as the actual elements, but they did it in the alert instead, which is, I guess, another way of doing it. And then if you already got 3 hints, it just out of hints, the correct answer is yeah, and it resets the hint count and goes on to the next country and calls for the function that goes also to the next country. So all this makes sense to me. I'm going to delete whatever I wrote here. And I'm going to continue writing the code that they thingy did. So it made an if thingy here. If hint count is equal or the same as 3, then you need to alert that it's incorrect. The first letter is, yeah, I'll do that instead of this. I think it's more clean. Plus that is it's $sign and then hint. Now it's actually interact. I don't know why that happens. Oh, it's because it's inside parentheses, maybe? I'm not sure. I guess you can't do it when declaring something. I don't know. I'm not sure why that didn't work earlier. Let's do this and then else and then this and then boom. Then I need to delete this one, of course. Then I need to go here. Lurch. I'm just gonna do this. I don't give a fuck. Should be parentheses here. Again, I did the wrong thing again. I don't know why. Countries, currency. Perfect. And then int counts goes to 0 because it needs to reset for the next country. I thought that was this though. I mean, does it twice? I thought this we're doing this. So I guess I was wrong about this one then. Because this makes sense. And then obviously needs to be updated for the next one. But this one, when it's correct, why does it need to declare it? Like just jump to the next one and it won't change, right? Like I don't think this is necessary in my opinion. Like I'll try to see if it's doing something important though. Then we gotta write the code to jump into the next one. This one, and then the modulo thingy. Countries length. And call for the function that jumps to the next one, right? Pretty simple. Pretty simple, pretty clean. I'm gonna make this a bit cleaner just by doing this, really. For me, this is pretty clean. Should be working. Boom, let's see. It's not working. Did I incorrectly spell something? I could do this, but I don't think it should change. Yeah. Oops. Just have it there just in case it needs to do it. Okay, I think I need the console here. Message board close before. Missing after argument list. Wow, where? Oh, here. Click. What? How did I fuck that up? Oh, there should be like a thing here, maybe? Is that it? It's the wrong place. Maybe here? No. Wait, guess input value. Is that in the code? Yeah, it is. Is it here? No. Where is it? Can't see where. Does it say the line here? 169. What? 69 is here. What the fuck? What? And I feel like the parentheses should be up here somewhere. Like I feel like it should be up here because this is the only function you want to use the click function for. But I just don't see where I did wrongly. Oh, maybe I just need to do that. No, I don't actually. Still inside the function. I just don't see it, man. It's so annoying. Yeah, I don't see it. Like this one should be to this one. That's what should correlate to. But I think something happens here. I don't know what. I don't know what, man. What is wrong? I think I'm just gonna copy it then. I can't figure it out. Unexpected token at 169. What? Is it this thing? This is for the function here. I mean, it needs that one, right? After argument list 121. Here? I mean, why doesn't it not say that then? Is it wrong? Unexpected token. And what? Doesn't make any sense. Unexpected token at 169. Yeah, that is definitely not correct. Oh my god, what the fuck is it? That and that's that. And I need to go here and I have to delete this. This is the current code and missing after argument list at 121. Yeah, I don't know why it's happening. I'm just gonna copy it and oops, that's not what I want to do. Copy it. Getting better. Let's see if it can help me here. That means you're just doubling the visible part instead of hiding the rest of the word. Wait, I didn't write that part of the code. Did I miss part of the code? Did I miss this part? Maybe I didn't write it. Yeah, I didn't even write it. What the fuck? I wrote this twice. I mean, that's stupid. Here, repeat country name. There we go. Now the code should work. Missing after 121. Right here, it's missing it again. Why? Inside, guess the click event you wrote here, but there's no variable named hint yet. Oh, did I fuck up here? Const hint, get hint, const. Oh, bro, why did I not write all the code? Did I just skip a lot of code by accident? I'm stupid. Countries. Name, hint, count. I should have just read through the code, man. I would have probably figured this out. I should, at least I should have figured this out. There's still red here for some reason. Fix else block, else. Current index dot name. Looks correct. Wait, what's the difference here? What? Oh, I didn't write alert. What the fuck? Bro, I missed so much that stuff. I don't know why. We're missing curly braces for the else body. I guess I'm just really tired right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Now it should work. Yep. Let's do that. Doesn't work. The first letter is T. Ta. Stop. Ta. Tal. And if it's wrong again, then out of hints great Taliban and just do the next one. Oh. Oh. Hold on. Nice. Oops. I updated code. Okay, nice. I think I'm gonna end it here just because it's getting really late and I don't want to disturb the neighbors. Again, I moved out, so there's people living next to me. And also, I'm really tired because I've been moving a lot of stuff and it's still pretty messy in my room right now. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna do a quick summary. First of all, we got done with the first code plan, which is really nice. I did edit it a bit, so it only gets, actually it gets notified actually, so I didn't modify it too much. I made the second code plan and oops, and we got it done. I mean, it's done, right? So I think we're pretty much actually done with the whole first code plan, second code. For the next one, we need to make a third code plan, and I guess this will be let's see in our code here. Yeah, actually getting points. So we need to declare a point system so that it actually gets point based on how many hints it's on. And that's going to be a bit interesting, but I think we'll figure it out pretty easily. So yeah. Nice session. I feel like I learned a lot again. Learning every day. Feels good.